Zonkluyordu ay bir Ağustos ağzında olta yarasıyla çizginen bir balık gibi. Koyulmuş mürekkepli denizde. Bunu da unutamam. Aradım saatlerce kararan gökte. Tepeleri tırmandım soluk soluğa. Gidip geldi aklım sayrı bir çocuğun sayıklaması gibi. Ta bulana kadar koyağın ucunda onu. Takılı bir meşe ağacına. Selvi uçlarından, tepelerin yamaçlarından bize bakıyordu gökyüzünden. Koşar adımlarla yuvarlanırken basma etekleriyle kızıllık aşağılara. My name is Fahri Oz. I come from Turkey. I am a translator to begin with, and a poet, an art, a critic sometimes, a literary critic sometimes. And I used to be, a lecturer, a university lecturer at Ankara University before I was dismissed by the government. Well, being a writer, I can't honestly answer this question as a poet, or as a writer, because I cannot really comfortably label myself as a poet, as a writer. But I know what being a writer is like. I can guess, because many writers are very popular, and like Orhan Pamuk or Yaşar Kemal or Nazım Hikmet, those gigantic names of the Turkish literature in the 20th century and at present. Writers are, loved by the general public. But being a writer has also its own, risks. You may be, put to prison for your literary works or for your, statements that you make to the public or to the press. You may be sent to exile. You may even get murdered by the state, which happened to Sabahattin Ali in the 1950s or 60s. I can't remember exactly when. So, being a writer, it has its advantages and disadvantages. But, well, in Turkey, especially at present, things are not as, pink, I should say, not as, bright as, you would expect it to be. I like the nature. I like nature in Turkey. The climate. Well, the climate here is not that different, but somehow I'm used to the climate, the weather there. I miss Turkish food on and off, but I'm getting used to it. I'm forgetting about it. I miss Turkish tea, black tea, but yeah, that has been sorted out. So. I like Turkish people, and yeah, I like the Turkish nature in Turkey. Mediterranean, the sea, and so on. But both, nature and people have been, maltreated, abused, and so on. Terribly, especially in the last two decades. Well, I studied English literature, and I stepped into literature through translation, you could say. I don't know, and I don't have any easy answer to this question. Yeah, I think, deadlines can be both encouraging and discouraging. I like them because they somehow force you to write. So you don't have to wait for inspiration or something. And what I find lacking is, working with good editors. So I think that's a serious problem when it comes to writing, because as a writer you come up, or as a poet you write something, and you need real, honest, sincere feedback from a colleague, from someone who can look at what you have written with a different angle, with different eyes. And such people are not easy to come by. There are no Ezra Pounds around. Well, public duty. Well, it's a relative question. I mean, it's difficult to pin down, but of course, we don't live in a vacuum. We live in a society. We are surrounded by problems that, affect everyone. So we have certain responsibilities, but those responsibilities do not come up to the surface unmediated. So, I mean, we are, we are creating literature. We are not creating propaganda. So literature has its own ways. And writers and poets, they say things, but they say slantly, to quote Emily Dickinson. So, as far as COVID is concerned, I think this made me more aware of the working class people, those people who had to work even at the heyday of the pandemic, when everyone was safe in their houses and so on. There were thousands of billions of people in the world having to work. They had to go out and work, and they were in direct contact with people and so on. So they were facing risks and so on. So, and this brings us to this idea of the fact that COVID is something ideological, political. So those who are well off, they don't have to go out and work. But if you're not well off, then you are face to face with the COVID and the virus. Yeah, state definitely has to support arts, literature, and culture in general. When you look at many governments in the world, they support businessmen, investors, entrepreneurs. They help them with tax evasions and whatnot. Okay, why not support artists, writers, and so on? I cannot think of any, tangible, concrete means of or forms of support. But they could, buy books. For the libraries, public libraries, they can, open more libraries and so on. And they can reduce or remove tax in cultural productions or books and so on books, on films and so on. Yeah. I've been reading Ferlinghetti's City Lights Pocket Poets Anthology, which was published in 2015. I find that anthology quite useful, and because it provides you with a wide variety of poets from the USA and from Europe and from other parts of the world. And it's a bit narrow in terms of taste, because it harbors only those experimental poets or beat poets and so on. But still, it gives you an idea about the kind of poetry written in the 20th century, from beginning of the 20th century to almost our day. So I can say that's an interesting and useful book. Well, at present, I've been working on um, my translations. I've been, doing two translations at the same time, Walt Whitman and Emily Dickinson. I've been translating them. Uh, Apart from that, I'm writing some poems in English. And as for the things I have observed in Iowa City, well, I mentioned that in this public library meeting. Well, this is an unreal city, because you don't see so many kids, so many elderly people. Everyone here is young, between the ages of 18 to 30 or something, or 25. So it's like a film studio. It's unreal. So I don't know. And then, of course, they say things in America are big. Even the, leaves of oak trees, they are big. So I don't know. Everything is big, and food is big. Yeah. All right. Well, I enjoyed coming here with the IVP. I met really wonderful people here, made friends with them, and shared lots of things with them. I learned from them. I learned about, Far Eastern literature, Latin American literature, literature written in Africa, and so on. So it was very useful. Thank you.